in and of themselves, they provide no creditor protection like an LLC does.
And as for like sheltering real estate, would you recommend LLCs or trusts or corporations, or is it just kind of like a pick your poison, what's best for you kind of thing?
It's not a pick your poison always, because there are some more black and white rules with that. Mm-hmm. So one black and white rule is, in general, you never want to own real estate in a corporation. Okay. And that is because there's tax basis rules and all this that make it difficult to get the property out without tax consequences. So if you're buying, say, like single family rentals, you probably want to own those in an LLC because of the tax laws and the beefed up creditor protection. If you're doing lots and lots and lots of deals, some people will use land trusts. So they buy one property in one land trust and then have the beneficiary of multiple land trusts be one LLC, or, say like for every 5 land trusts, you have one LLC, whatever it is, you have to decide the numbers. The other black and white rule though with land trusts is that people think they're a creditor protected asset entity, and they're not. They can provide a smokescreen. They can make it harder for a potential creditor to find you. They can make it more difficult for a plaintiff's attorney to have any idea how to deal with a land trust. But in and of themselves, they provide no creditor protection like an LLC does. So for instance, if I had a house in a land trust and someone slipped and fell in that house and sued the land trust, if they won a judgment, they could get the equity in that house in that land trust. If I took that same house and I had it in an LLC and they sued the LLC and won, what they would get in most, if not all states, is a particular type of judgment called a charging order, which puts that creditor in my shoes in terms of benefits of the LLC, but also burdens of the LLC. So for instance, let's say I had a house, it's owned in an LLC, my tenant slips and falls, they sue my LLC, they win, they get a charging order against my LLC. That does not give them the availability or the ability to step in and manage my LLC. They can't dictate that I liquidate any assets in that LLC. They can't demand a distribution. Now, if my LLC decides to make a distribution to its members, to me, then the creditor stands there with their hands out like Oliver Twist, and that distribution gets plopped into their hands. Please, sir, may I have some more? But they don't get to demand that. And so if I'm the manager of my own LLC, I just say, well, we're not making any distributions this year. And so the creditor stands there with their empty hands. And that may be okay to the creditor, except it's a pass-through entity. And so what happens? Any income that LLC makes gets passed through to the members to go on their tax return, right? So if my LLC made $100,000 in income and that creditor has just stepped into my shoes for benefits and burdens, what do they get? A tax bill. Now they have to report and pay the tax on the $100,000 worth of income, even though they got no distribution. So creditors don't like that. And if I, as the manager of the LLC, said, hey, you know what? This LLC is having a capital call and all members need to kick in $100,000 to pay for operations. Guess what? That creditor needs to pony up $100,000 because they stepped into my shoes for benefits and burdens. So creditors don't like it. They're always looking for a way around it. And the only way they usually can get around that is if you have either not set up your LLC properly or you have not managed it properly. You've commingled your money with your personal stuff. You haven't adequately capitalized your LLC, meaning you haven't funded it enough, things like that. But if it's set up properly, managed properly, then it tends to have a good creditor protection veil that a land trust will never have. Land trust just counts on smoke and mirrors and hey, you can't find me. But if you find you, they got you, right?